Okay, so that's what we're talking about here is, okay, what if you want to attempt to graph the pie chart? It turns out that the TI-84 is not in this league. It actually can't be done on a TI-84, sadly. But it could be done on an npire and a CASIO. But I'm trying to figure out why is it that for CASIO, why can't we do I can't think right now, but the bar graph using the values. It does something weird about it. Well, for the npire, I use bar graph and it does it. So I have to figure out how to adjust that, how to adjust the CASIO one to do the proper bar graph. But I'll learn that later, not now. But anyways, remember the CASIO had labeling, where we had, from one had to be, was supposed to be O, which we have here, one was O, 3 was supposed to be the A, well, 5 was the B, and 7 was the AB. And we just did the scaling of the histogram that way so it could give the impression of a bar graph. Okay. Well, over here the bar graph and it was done. So labeling, no labeling. But let's see. Okay, how do we make a pie chart then? How do we make a pie chart from using the data itself, and also if I needed to use the table. How can I make the pie charts? How can I get the corresponding ones? We're gonna see that right now. Okay. So first thing first, let's look at the CASIO, and see how it does its pie. It makes its pie chart. And once again, I'm gonna change the slide here so that we can see the pie chart and how we can make the pie chart. But the pie chart should definitely resemble this frequency distribution for the most part. They're both one and the same. You can go back and forth. But the easy one to know is percentages. That's why we need no proportions for us to use percentages, because that can help us with the graphing itself. And I give you some indications of how I could guesstimate if I need to graph it. How can I guesstimate? So if I had a TI-84 or 83, if I need to draw a pie chart, how can I guesstimate to get a good, not perfect, but a good accurate approximation of the regions being graphed? Okay. So, let's go ahead and get to the next slide so we can see the pie chart. There we are. So, once again, the CASIO. I can do it in the CASIO. So right here, what we're doing here is I'm going to go to my graphs. So where's my graph at? So it's supposed to be second shift quit graphs. And I'm going to make sure that I have certain ones on. So I'm going to turn on 1 because that's when I had my first list. So I'm going to turn this one on, but I'm going to turn off 2 for mine. Let's make sure we're doing this similar idea for yours. And I'm going to go ahead and exit this. So now I'm going to go to set. And over here, when you set, this we're going to find out that when I do my bar graph, this is where you can't do it using individual. But I'm going to show it to you why we can't do it. So over here, I'm going to go here and do a bar graph real quick so you can see it happen. So here's bar option. I'm going to hit it. So notice over here, answer data 1, data 2, data 3. It can compare data. So that's a good thing about it. But sadly, it doesn't do it appropriately like I think it should do it. But let me just go ahead and go to this. It's supposed to be this 1. That's where we have our numbers. Okay, the numerical labeling. And enter. Now stick with. Notice how it's talking about. It's just talking about 6L length or horizontal. These guys right here were just other datas that could have been involved, but we don't have any of those guys for datas 1, 2, 3. That's how we can compare. And that's pretty much it. So now when I try to graph this guy, let me enter it, and now I'm gonna try to graph it. Notice it does this. Okay, and this is not really what we want, because all it's saying here is, oh, how many want? All we did was it compared the data list, and it was just giving frequencies for the data list. which I'm trying to figure out why is it doing that, you got me, okay? You definitely got me. But if that's what it's doing, maybe there's a way we could get it so that it's gonna work pleasant. So what we do here is, let's see, notice how we can bar graph still? So notice how, what I want to show you here is, notice how this is following this one, and know how all the way to 9, it has frequency 1. Notice that. So then we do this. Why don't I go over here and change it in the, instead of doing this 1, I'm going to do the frequency 1 instead. Okay, it's supposed to be consistent. And then we'll see what happens there. Let's see if that is good. And then we'll just be changing our labeling instead. So let me go ahead and go back to my graph, or, oh crap, did it wrong. Second quit. So I'm gonna go back to my graph again. I'm gonna set graph 1, but instead of being list 1, I'm gonna go and do my frequency based off the list based off the frequency list. So therefore over here, I'm just gonna put list, and R is supposed to be 3. That's where frequency is at. Okay. And now when I go ahead and graph this one, enter, and I'm gonna graph it, there we have it. We have a bar graph. Huh. I didn't think about that. I was thinking trippy. But anyways, there's our bar graph right there. Okay. Sorry about that. I should have caught on to that for last time. Now we kind of know. And when we actually make the pie chart for this one, what it's going to do is, I don't know which order it is, but instead of using 1, 2, 3, you're going to use A, B, C, and D. Okay. Well, it's a little bit of labeling, but we'll see that. But you understand how the bar graph's been done here? So I do apologize for the previous video. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do that. That's a long way of doing it. It turns out, just use the frequencies here. Okay. So I guess this video is going to be bar graph / histogram. Okay. Or sorry, bar graph / pie chart. So that's how this one works here, which is pretty nice, but note how it works. So what we're seeing here is, if I go to my list, so let me just go ahead and quit it. Notice how this one here was not a good one for the bar graph. What we did here is, we went for the frequency distribution here, and instead of me doing this labeling here, I just brought this list and made it, I could have made this be list 1. Okay? So I just got the frequency that corresponded with category 1 or subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, subject 4, for aka categories. Okay? And that's what your graph is doing, your histogram over here. That's how it's doing it. Okay? And we have the graph, which is pretty nice. And now, and let me just go back to the graph so we can see it again. No, it's 1. So you can quit. So graph 1, and there it is, a bar graph. Okay. And notice how it's very similar to the one that's over here. And also notice how it makes it Pareto. It definitely makes it Pareto. But no, it doesn't. I lie. It doesn't make Pareto. What it's doing here is going based off the frequency. So off of frequency here, it actually was like that. So it's not making Pareto. It's making a regular graph. I could have labeled it differently, and it would have been labeled different here. All I'm saying here is, when we get to it, this 1 is supposed to represent the O blood. This 2 is supposed to represent the A blood. This 3 is supposed to represent the B blood, while this 4 represents the AB blood. Okay? That's all it's doing. And we have a bar graph. So when you take it out and you do your resizing or whatever, you could definitely get that. And I'm pretty sure you might be able to resize the scaling of this bar graph to make it bigger, like over here. Right now, I just barely noticed that I could actually do it. I didn't realize till now that I could do it that way. But let's go to the polygon over here. How do we get this? Again, I'll repeat how we got this one here. So what we did for over here, how do we get this? Well, I went to my data first of all. Okay. And I could have used either or. I could have used this guy here, this table, or I could use the data list itself. They both would work. So I'm gonna show you both how both of them work in here. Over here, apparently, Sally, you can't really do that. Actually, look, you can. But if you're gonna do that, it might not work. But I'll show it now. Maybe. I should just show that now. Okay. But no, it's not gonna work because it has categories. Over here, let me do it. So if I'm going based off the actual data itself right here, notice over here, this one you couldn't do it. Over here we can. And what we do here is we go to it's control new page, and I'm going to go to data and statistics, and notice how it's everywhere for right now, but it's okay. I gotta come over here and click and add variable down here. So I'm gonna come down here, click and add variable, and I want to do my list one because that's where my list is at, my set. So I'm gonna enter it. So it does a dot plot, but in reality it is still a box. It is still kind of low-key a dot plot that could be converted into a histogram, but it's pretty nice for categorical. So, but what makes it into a true histogram is we're gonna go to menu, and we're gonna go to plot type. Oh, sorry, plot type. First one. So notice how over here says, oh, after you do this, you're gonna have two options, either pie chart or bar chart. So you could do either two. So I'm gonna go over here, and there it is, one bar chart. It's done. Okay. So that's how you get that done pretty easy through there. But over here, once again, this right here could be done through we call it data. While over here, it cannot. If you're gonna do and once again, also over here, it has to be done through frequency. It can't be done through data. And our frequencies, we're not doing an account for labeling. As I said before, the labels are already different for the subjects. Are you just frequency them from there? That's how that's working. Okay. And after we compare those guys later on, and we're going to use that later on when we do the comparisons. It's going to work splendidly. But over here, let's come over here and say, okay, what if I want to do it through the data, and I had a table instead? How can I do it through a table instead? Okay. You know what I like? You can still do the table. It's just how you set it up is the key. And you set it the same way. It's just table. Yes, it is table. Anyways, come over here. If I do a table setup, I can do it too. But once again, you can only do it through here. So I have to do menu, go to data. Okay. I'm gonna enter. I'm gonna do summary plots. Enter it, and this is where we have our situation here. We're saying, okay, I'm doing this too, because that's where the categories are for the table. So that's going to say that drop down. This is where it's supposed to be the 3, because that's where the corresponding frequencies are at. And once again, I want to make a new page. I don't want to put the graph, and I'm going to enter it. So there is the new graph. Okay. So I was able to do it, but it changed its ordering. Okay, when it did it. And what caused to be the case for mine, maybe I didn't notice until now, I was pretty smart. It didn't do a periodical graph, like I said last time, I was being smart. Remember, the first class that I chose was O. The second class that I chose was A. The third class that I chose was B. And the last class I chose, the category I chose was AB. So it's keeping it in that order. If I would have changed the order, because normal order doesn't matter. So I would have changed the order, it would have been a different graph. Okay? I just went with the order I selected. While the other one was more free towards its own alphabetical order. So I do apologize for saying that it was a paradox last time. It's not. It was my setup that it was. But anyways, we have all the information, and look at that. If you go over this, you see percentages on with it. That's pretty cool. We see the amount and percentages that correlate to each other. That's pretty tight. That's cool. If we could show the labeling here, that'd be awesome. Okay. But we got that out the way. So how does pie chart work? Okay. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the CASIO and show how pie chart works right here. Then I'm going to come over here and do the histograms to see the comparisons. And we're going to see how it actually works. But here's how you can do the histogram here. So I do apologize for the other one. But if you want to control the data and go based on data the way it was, the only way you can do it is through labeling. But if you want to just go and use labeling right there on the side and just do the frequency, definitely feel free to do that. It makes its own bar graph. And now I understand what's happening there. First, I couldn't understand at first until now. But anyways, back over here. So we're gonna go back to second quit. So graph, we're pretty much gonna be now. I'm gonna go ahead and select, and I'm gonna turn on the second one. So now this one is gonna be the pie chart. I'm gonna turn you on, and then we'll turn it off right now. Okay, and exit. So now the pie chart. How does the pie chart work on the CASIO? Come over here. What we could do is, let's see if we could set it up using what's there. If you can, that's great. If you can't, then we have a different story. But right here, what I realized is you can't do data again, because if you try doing the data, which is the actual list, let's look what happens. So I put 1, which is the actual list of our labeling, and I enter the graph, and then I go for exit and actually graph it. Notice how I hit the other one. Sorry, it's supposed to be this one. Notice how it's going to the histogram. Maybe because I didn't change my settings, so let me exit, do my settings. Oh yeah, there it is. It's supposed to be a pie chart, so I'm gonna hit the pie one instead. And notice how this list 1, and it has all the percentages right here, display percentages. So this one here might work. We're gonna see if it works or not. So list 1, which is actual data, and everything pretty much will keep the same way it is. I won't touch it, and let's see if it graphs it. So therefore, I'm gonna exit, and I'm gonna actually graph 2 now. And once again, it does that crap. I don't understand. Exit, set. Oh, I did. It's 1. I changed 1. So make sure you know what you're changing. I keep forgetting I have to change it down here to go to the 2. So now I'm graphing 1, and I just have to turn it on. So let me exit, and I'm going to turn it on. It's off right now, so I'm turning it on. Since I'm constantly pressing, having one be the one changing. So I do apologize with that, just to catch on to that. I was always changing 1 this whole time. So exit, and now when I graph 1, it says, hey, improper number of elements. I can't do it. Okay, it's asking for a number of elements. So it's saying it's asking for frequency. So the proper frequency is not working here. So what we're going to do here is, instead of doing the list 1, I'm doing frequency again, like I did before for the bar graph. So over here, data won't work. It has to be a distribution table, and we don't care about the labeling. We just label it right on the side. That's what's happening here for yours. So hopefully you guys catching on to that. Exit this real quick. So now, if I say, okay, screw the actual data, I'm not going to get the labeling that would correspond to it. I'm going to look over here and look at the frequency. That's what I'm going to do. And so when I do this, the frequency is going to correspond to these guys right here, and they'll be probably lettered the same way. So this will be your A, this will be your B, C, and D, if I'm not mistaken. And we should be seeing this type of proportion happening to make it consistent. So let me do that real quick. So once again, I'm going to set this one here to be the pi, but which is the graph 1. But instead of doing list 1, I want to do list 3. That's where the frequency is at. So now when I enter that and I graph, look what happens. So I'm going to exit now, and I'm going to graph 1. I get my pie chart. And notice how A is going to the 36, which went to the 9 for the frequency. So if you have frequency right here, it was 9 here, 8 here, 5 here, and 3 here. So based off the bar graph, when we had 1, 2, 3, 4, what's happening instead of putting 1, 2, 3, 4, it's saying it's A, B, C, D. So we know this here is your 1, this right here is your 2, this right here is your 3, this right here is your 4. That came from the bar graph. Okay? That's what's happening here. It's just being relabeled. So I hope that, so also when you go into the one, you can always relabel those guys. and you could get rid of these guys and put the actual letters, which we're saying that for the 9 it was supposed to be an O, for the 8 it was supposed to be it was for the A, which is B, it's supposed to be the A. For the C, which is 5, it was supposed to have been the B, and for D, which is C, supposed to be 3, it was supposed to be your AB. So you could be adjusting labelings when you go into your Word document after you copy spaces over. Are you just readjusting the labeling? And it's being consistent to this now. So the labeling that you're doing here is basically labeling off the subjects and labeling based off ABC. Okay, that's what this is doing. So it's not really friendly in terms of you controlling your labeling or your categories. It's making its own, and we just gotta make it proportional. That's all this is doing. Okay. So everything is root frequency over here, and the CASIO. It has to do root frequency. It's not like the npire, which allows you to do both. Okay. The npire actually is more versatile. That's what costs much more. But anyways, let's go ahead and graph the bar graph for the npire. I already showed you how to do over here, and it has percentages. I'm not going to do proportions, but everything's there. And if cool, we could include the proportions, the frequencies there too. That would have been nice and tight, but I don't think it did it. But over here, I'm gonna come over here and go back to my data set. So once again, I could do it to the graph, or I could do it to the table. They're both gonna work, okay? So I'm just going to do to the graph right now, or the actual data, and see it happen. So I'm gonna go ahead and control and make a new grid. Okay. Well, let's do I don't have to make a new grid. Let me escape that. What I could do here is I could go to the one that had my histogram, which is right here, and I could do menu, or bar graph, and I could do menu, and I'm gonna change the plot. So instead of being a bar graph, I'm gonna make it be a pie chart instead. So that's a quick way of doing it. So you can just go over here and say, yes, I want to be a pie chart, and there's my pie chart. Okay. Unlike the other one, this one here doesn't show the images, but I'm pretty sure, or the values, but I'm pretty sure if you go to the settings, you might be able to, and we're gonna see that right now. But notice how it's labeled. I like how it's labeled. The other one's not labeled. So we have to change our labeling on the other one. We'll come back over here. Let's just go ahead and look at the properties. So I'm gonna go to menu, and I'm gonna look at the properties to see what can happen. And see right here, move X variable, I don't wanna do that. Oh, check it out, show all labels. Right here. So let's enter, was more on top? No. So we're gonna go to number 4 where it says show all labels. I'm gonna enter it. And there we go. There's my labels. But it does it in percentages. It doesn't do the count, it does it in percentages, which is still okay. Okay? So there's a bar chart. So either one you look at, the pyramids look almost the same, it's just kind of rotated a little bit. This one more rotated this way, if you were to notice. And then it just rotated this way. It just got rotated about a good 20, 30 degrees. Maybe 45 if I'm doing the right angling. Okay. So either one will be sufficient. And all you're really doing is just mimicking it over here. So we have our mixtures in the middle too. That's where this one here requires a protractor and a compass. So we have our D right here, which is supposed to be your 12%. Well, we know our D is supposed to be your AB, okay, which in this case is D for CASIO, okay. And then we have our other one that looks like this, which actually did more down at an angle. Okay. There we go. And this right here was your C, but we know this one here is supposed to correspond to your 20%, which is supposed to be your B, your blood type B. So B in here. And this is your 12%. This right here was your 20%. And over here, it's something like this, where we have our B, or this one here says B on the outside, that's it. But it's supposed to be representing the 32%er, which is supposed to be your A. Okay, and lastly, this is the bigger one, and this is your 36%er. Which is supposed to be your O, and this one they refer to as being A. Okay, CASIO is the box, and the other one's that. So doing this in pie chart, notice how they're using percentages, because percentages is the best way to do it. So we could go half, not half, a quarter, and stuff like that. This is closer to 40%, so it's almost close to being half. Okay, maybe this one should be a little bit more this way, but I don't have to make it equal because it's not equal. Okay. But anyways, that's how you do a pie chart. So if you want to do it by hand, all you gotta do is make sure you get your percentages of your percentages, and that you can figure out, oh, what is about half, what is about 10%, what is about quarter. So this here appears to be about a quarter, even though a little smaller. Over here it's a little more than a quarter, so it's a performance we're going good. So you know, if you actually look at the line here, it's about half. Okay, so that's what I do. I do quarters, I do halves, quarters, and half of halves, which this guy here is actually half of a half. It's supposed to be half of a half. But that's pretty much it. Okay? And that's how you pretty much histogram a pie chart using this guy, using the CASIO and a polygon. But there is the other way I showed you before. If you want to keep it, I'll put it the wrong way. But it's how you can do it using the labelings. I gotta just readjust the labelings. Okay? Thank you, and I hope you are enjoying the video.